Hey everyone, Bob the Canadian here. So, game three of the Lords of Middle-earth semifinals. Always fun to go to exciting game three. Anyway, so they did the higher roll. I keep pausing like that because I'm still working on trying to not say so much. Anyway, they did the higher roll, so Ari got the higher roll and he picked Shadow. So here we go. Free Peoples has picked Gandalf Narya as guide, and nice. Okay, so he had an alternate Hobbit chosen anyway and picked up Fear Fire Foes, so naturally chose to separate them. So that's pretty cool. Okay. So Ari allocates one eye, which makes sense, and rolls 0 musters, which is always a frustrating start. Like, at least you have the token, so you can still do something militarily, but you can't bring in, Balrog, Saruman, even the chief if the fellowship gets revealed. So frustrating stuff. No passing for what do you call it, for the free people. So he picks up King Brand. So that is a dynamite combo if ever I saw one. Like Hobbit split, Fear Fire Foes, King Brand, turn one. Like he could play both of those and have a really strong army in Dale already, Yeah. So he does some army shuffling to Gorgoroth. Fellowship moves and is not hit. Some more armies move. Fellowship moves again, is also not hit. That's pretty lucky. I mean, not absurdly lucky, but 2 at 5, like it's more likely to get hit than not. So out comes the Fear Fire Foes. I guess that's the interesting question you ask now of the Shadow player is do you boogie straight north to try to deal with it, or do you give up on the dew line entirely? I think if he had started moving towards the dew line, then you could keep finishing it, but from here on out, it's pretty daunting, because at most you could use a token to get Sauron to war and get this army to Eastern Rovanion, or this army to No Man Land, so you're still 2 attacks or 3 attacks away from hitting Dale next turn. So that gives him all the time in the world to muster more and play King Brand's men. Like, it's just going to be such a mess. So, let's see. Okay, he musters Gondor to war. No, he thinks about it. Oh, whoops. Quadratic changed his mind. I already didn't notice it took a turn. Easy mistakes to make. So he did go ahead and muster Gondor, and he'd move towards Gondor. So I think that makes sense. Just the dew line is officially, it would just be very difficult to deal with now. He doesn't use the token, which I think makes sense. Might as well see what you roll next turn and see what makes sense. The downside to Fear Fire Foes is that the Shadow player can get a very quick Black Captain next turn. So if he rolls 3 muster dice, then with that token, he can get Saruman and the Black Captain next turn. So that's still nice. It is nice to have the Chief for a while, but I mean, turn 2 Black Captain, just try to rush the military. That doesn't seem like a bad plan to me. Okay, so he gets 2 musters at least, so that's something. And 3 eyes to, some more decent movements. Okay, so there's King Brand's men. I imagine just for the cycling, because it seems pretty unlikely that the dew line is going to be moved towards any time soon. And I mean, it's still nice to have those boots on the ground in case he tries it later. Okay, so in comes the Balrog, which I guess makes sense. You can only pick one between Witch King or Saruman to get this turn, so you're going to want to get a keeper die too. Yeah. Right, okay, and there's the elite and dwarves and elves going down. Fellowship moves and is safe. Saruman goes to war. Fellowship moves again, is hit, and it's a 3. Yeah, so that's a very nice draw for the Free Peoples. It's a little bit of a bummer that they don't have any keeper dice to bring in next to that. So, and the Shadow player isn't going to be bringing Sauron to war. Like, they have 1 muster left, and that's pretty obviously going to be for Saruman. So it's a bit of a bummer being only on 4 dice, but you can't ask for better than a 3 that doesn't reveal to kill off Gandalf with. They move towards Lorien, play Horn of Gondor. In comes Saruman. Elves get mustered towards war, and the armies get ready outside Lorien. It's a very threatening standoff. There's this army looking at Lorien, and these guys looking at Minas Tirith. Like, no shots have actually been fired, but there's a lot of menacing looks going on here. Yeah, they're back again in Pass of the Woses. I think that'll be some of the worst cards you can ask to draw right there. But oh well, doesn't really make. It's not the end of the world anyway. Ring Racer Abroad, Swarm Vats, good cards. 1 eye goes in, and another eye goes in after it. Bummer not seeing a Will of the West for the Free Peoples this turn for sure. Especially since Saruman came in Gandalf's dead, like a Will of the West would have been great. Okay, Sauron comes to war, so Galadriel comes in, that makes sense. So now after they... So assuming that the Shadow player goes ahead and attacks Lorien, then the elves would be at war, and then they could muster an elite into Lorien there. Exiles Gileath. Swarm Bats. I guess. Yeah, like there is a chance here anyway that they would scouts away so as to, exist in Pelargir and be annoying. So I guess this way you trap them and probably kill one of them. Oh, but they didn't play a card, so that 5 is a hit. So at least you killed one of them. Yeah, 0 hits back. Yeah, that's something. It's interesting that he didn't... Oh, I see. I think he was hoping to kill both of them to scare Quadratic into using his muster to put an elite in Minas Tirith and then go ahead with blowing up Lorien. Or you could even maybe go for Dol Amroth here, too. Like, you've got 3 attacks and it's 3 steps away. So, yeah, I think that is the right call, retreating into Minas Tirith and then not mustering in there. Yeah, so you can at least save that muster for whichever target he moves towards next. Attack Pelargir. The Great Host. So, yep, got him. Fellowship moves, and is hit. That's surprising. After all those moves, it's the 2 at 6 that actually gets them. Okay, so he uses Horn of Gondor and 1 corruption from that to reveal in Carrick. I think that makes sense. Like, it wouldn't be too crazy to reveal past Moria, because how many steps was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps. So you'd be revealing right here. So you're not immediately getting hit by rerolls, but you would be drawing 2 extra tiles, 1 for the Balrog, 1 for Moria. And if it was an eye from the Balrog, like you do have Galadriel's ring that you could use to try to protect Strider, but then again, you could draw another eye after that anyway. Just unlikely, but it is scary. Okay, so the Shadow armies move towards Dol Amroth. He musters once in Dol Amroth, which makes sense. And in comes the Black Captain. Interesting. I would have, interestingly enough, waiting until after the Fellowship has been revealed and then bring in the Black Captain, which is just coincidental timing, but I would have been tempted to get the Chief. Yeah, maybe the Chief makes more sense, because clearly, like, corruption isn't much of an issue yet. Like, the Fellowship still has a ways to go, but yeah, no, okay, I think Black Captain does make more sense. Oh, nice. So he has Black Captain and Ringwraither brought into hand. That feels really good. Yeah. So he goes after Dol Amroth. Sadly, of course, he doesn't know that, the Free People's player has Imrahil and Dol Amroth, so there's so it will be a full strength stronghold anyway. Oh, and this extra makes sense that he didn't besiege Lorien if he wants to quick blow up Dol Amroth, just to make the Free People's player muster the elves to war if they do have Círdan. Okay, so he chucks Challenge to the King. I think that makes sense. And yet, having Challenge and Deadman is a pretty cool combo, but at the same time, like, you're all the way here, you probably want Strider's ability to keep hiding and boogieing with the Fellowship for a while. So. In goes One Eye, and in goes the Balrog's Eye as well, and Galadriel's Eye. It's just, it's a party. Okay, so naturally, he plays Imrahil of Dol Amroth right off the bat. That makes a lot of sense, especially because you don't need to be scared of Day Without Dawn. Okay, so he puts Minas Tirith under siege. That also makes sense. Southwards get mustered to war. Southwards get mustered again. Then Gandalf the White shows up. That makes sense. Many kings in service of Mordor. Also a good move. It's looking grim for Gondor. Just like this, good armies for backup. Like the strongholds are well mustered, but these armies are also good, and there's this whole army here for backup. So that seems like a clear 5 points. It's to be tested yet whether Lorien will be the 7 points, because if it goes wrong and they get a chance to muster up, then sometimes that can backfire on Shadow pretty hard. Okay, so armies move together. But yeah, now with many kings, now this army is ready to try to do something anyway. Interesting putting them in Osgiliath. I would have been tempted to put them in Pelargir just in case you need backup for either one. Yeah. Fellowship moves, and it's safe. Dol Amroth is attacked. Unless assault against Valor. Takes 1 hit and rolls 2 5s, so that's pretty good. Valor, sadly, no 4s rolled, so the Valor is useless. Still 2 hits back, though, so that's about fair. Okay, he stops. Elrond comes in because Galadriel's die is going away, so that makes sense. Okay, and we conquer Lasarnak just to stop any pesky Gondor mustering. That's interesting what you do with this army / about this army, because with the North being at war, you can muster more in Dale and then try to split that into both of these strongholds. But if Shadow can quick run around Dale to get Woodland Realm, or just go get Erebor, there's certainly hope to pluck 2 points, or even just 1 point from the dew line here still. Okay, chucks Wormtongue, that makes sense. Fellowship declares, which normally you don't get to get away from Nazgul by declaring in Lords of Middle-earth, but this is just a regular Nazgul. The Black Captain is off conquering stuff, so yeah, that works just great. Allocates 1 eye, rolls 2 more. Only 1 movement for the Free Peoples. That's 2 1 movement turns in a row, so that doesn't feel amazing. But I mean, all those musters are nice, though. Like 1 muster and 3 H's, like you can do some shoring up work here for sure. So we attack Dol Amroth. Desperate battle against No Quarter. 3 hits, that's pretty good. Against 3 plus 1. Yeah. So. Oh, that hurts anyway. Oh, but he neatly cycles into half-orcs and goblins, so that would top that army back up to a full 5 units anyway. Fellowship moves, and is safe. Yep. Half-orcs to top it up. Use some army movement to get to Erebor and move towards Helm's Deep. Makes a lot of sense. Attacking Dol Amroth. Ooh, Fear Their Masters into daylight. That, like, he can still get 3 hits and just wipe the stronghold, but if he, whiffs, then this could hurt a lot. Okay, he gets his 2 hits. That helps. And it's 0, so never mind. That's great. I think I had a game recently where Dol Amroth just backfired on me pretty hard, so I was kind of just expecting it to go horribly here too, because that's what happens at Dol Amroth. What else happens? Okay, so there's some points for, what do you call it, for them. They're in back again. Interesting. So out comes Gimli, or original Gimli, not, what do you call it? Not alternate Gimli. And the dwarves and the elves both get mustered down a step. See, they should have activated those nations a while ago when the Black Captain came in. I kind of just thought that they were going to catch that and do that, but so I wonder if that was part of his motivation, because this way he's activating the Dwarven nation, and now he can muster them to war and muster even more troops in. So if that was part of his motivation, then that's a shame, because they, missed that ruling about the Black Captain. But if he did, just want the mustering on the elves and the dwarves and the extra strength there, then that's a reasonable move for sure, because the Fellowship is in good health anyway. There is still a ways to go, 4 steps to go, and they're in good health. So actually, that does make a lot of sense. Putting a companion there to make the dew line even more formidable against this army from the east. Anyway, okay. Voice of Saruman to muster up a little bit, mustering in Lorien. So now it seems quite unlikely that you're going to bother going after Lorien. If it was me, I would wait for a turn where there are no musters and use this army to pivot over and try to blow up Rivendell. Interesting. Why move 2 regulars here? That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Oh, okay. I guess he has... I see. There's a Shadow Lengthens card, and he wants to bring this army over like that. So he was making room for the whole army to come through. Okay. That's reasonable. Musters Rohan a step towards war. Now they realize that they're supposed to be active. Yeah, okay. And the armies come closer. Okay, never mind. Definitely not the Shadows Gather plan, because this army just walks forward again. Okay, I don't know. Oh, but there's a Durin's Bane there, so that would help if you are going after Lorien. That would help a lot. Candles, Deadly Strife, decent cards. I will go alone, and Swords and Eriador. I bet you wish you'd had that one for separating Gimli. And yet, the mustering was good, too. Anyway. Okay, so Fellowship declares again. What do you chuck here? I would probably chuck Durin's Bane and give up on taking Lorien. He chucks Candles of Corpses. That's reasonable too, because the Fellowship is doing so well on corruption that, yeah. Okay, allocates 1 eye, rolls 1 more. Interesting that he moves with the character first. I probably would have moved with the Will of the West first, just in case they had Day Without Dawn to increase the odds of getting to Mordor this turn. Like, it's still unlikely. You'd still 1, 2, 3. Yeah, you'd need to use Elrond's ring and another ring to get to Mordor this turn. But honestly, I think I'd still try it, because the Fellowship's in such good health that you can afford to sprint. And like militarily, there's good defenses here, but at the same time, after Minas Tirith is gone, that's 5 points, and Rohan isn't looking too strong either, so that's not too far away from 8 points. And maybe this army can slip around and get a stronghold, or maybe these guys are going to go get Rivendell. Like military isn't that far away from winning. Okay, 6 and 2, so there's Smeagol. So that kind of decreases the odds of getting to Mordor this turn, simply because it's harder to hide again now. Anyway, uses Vilya to keep the sea. Saruman musters up some more. Fellowship moves. Is safe. It plays Foul Thing from the deep, and it's a 1R, so that is the best tile to draw from Foul Thing. So I would have been tempted to wait until after Smeagol was gone, but I guess because you have to take a random, it's unlikely he's going to be able to. Like, it's only 1 in 5 that he loses Smeagol, so this reveal will slow him down significantly. It's pretty lucky that he got one of those. There's only 4 tiles in there that would have revealed, but still, that's a great play to go for. Let's see who he draws. Legolas. So that's, tomato. It's, I think losing Smeagol would have been the best case scenario for the Fellowship, but losing Strider would have been the worst. So that's one of the 3 in the middle. That's like Pippin would have been better than Legolas, obviously, but you do. Yeah. So Quadratic tries to use the Strider ability and then is reminded that Smeagol's in the way. But yeah, hides with the character die. The plus side to only Elrond's ring being spent, though, is that if you draw 3 rings for the Elven King, there's no Gandalf ring to spend for the Shadow player to block them getting Elrond's ring back. Okay. He attacks Dale. No card. 1 hit for the Free Peoples. No hits for Shadow player. They retreats to Woodland Realm, which I think makes sense. That's a pretty formidable stronghold, and I think that makes Erebor kind of vulnerable. If I was the Shadow player, I think you not mustering more or moving those armies, that makes me think that you probably have Dane in hand. So that would make me hesitant to try to do anything else here. But you don't have Dane in hand, so maybe that's worth going for Erebor. Anyway. Okay, muster another elite in Woodland Realm just to make it very difficult here. Okay, so we are going after Rivendell. Another option here is he could have gone after the Shire and then hoped to finish Rohan. So that you get 8 points +1/+1, the South 8 plus the 2 cities. But this works this is really cool too, because he has the Shadow Lengthens, so he can bring a big chunk of this army over here and then go after Rivendell. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so he draws a character card. Yeah, there's that Shadow Lengthens we were talking about. And yes, and the Witch King and the Warg from Dol Amroth finally make it to Minas Tirith to work on blowing that up. Okay, so he plays I Will Go Alone. Interesting. Okay, epic times are upon us. Yeah, so he has Dead Men of Dunharrow, and he sees how vulnerable Dol Amroth is. So yeah, this is a pretty cool choice, I think. I think I would have held off on that until the last turn, just because if you're doing something crazy with Strider, you want to give the Shadow player less warning about it. So anyway, Strider comes away, 1 healing is done. Armies move. Interesting. So where did those come from? From Lost Sarnak to Osgiliath. I guess that's good if you're, planning on bringing these guys towards Rohan later. Anyway. Okay, and naturally, Elrond musters they muster an elf in Rivendell, and then the Shadow player uses the ring to attack Rivendell, so he can't muster anymore. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, Mr. Code and Sting. That's a great draw. Scouts could be helpful. Doesn't feel too helpful for the current board state. Sorry, I wonder if he's going to draw a card soon. Yeah, there it is. Captain of Despair and Horde from the East, both good cards. So the plus side to seeing Striders gone is that makes the Fellowship's odds of getting through Mordor significantly slimmer anyway, because they're going to be a lot slower as they don't hide and everything. Okay, Fellowship moves, is safe. Attack Minas Tirith. Deadly Strife, gets 3 hits. Wow, what a whiff. That's amazing. 5 dice that hit on 3 and above and only 1 hit. That's crazy. Okay, 2 hits back. Very much a good deal for Shadow. Presses, no card, no card. 2 sixes, 1 hit back. I would assume press again and probably finishing it off with just another 6. Yep, there you go. 1 hit back. So yeah, that was a very pleasant siege for the Shadow player. So the board should reflect 6 points now. Easy to... There it is, yeah. Fellowship moves again, and it's hit, and it's a 3. I would predict Smeagol's gone. Yeah, Smeagol's gone, and 1 corruption point. Okay, so now the Fellowship is on 2 steps. So if I was the Shadow player, I'd be very tempted to start trying to cycle, character cards as hard as I can. Probably play Ring Racer Abroad, pivot the Black Captain up to Rivendell, and use all these dice attacking and save the character die for the end to hopefully play Cruel Weather if I draw it. Okay, he moves armies along. Right, to be fair, Deadman is also scary. So walking this army back to Dol Amroth is an entirely reasonable choice. Just so that if he plays Deadman, like even if he hits this and rolls a 6, there's still 4 units, and then they can retreat. And then Strider is here with 3 regulars waiting for the Witch King to destroy him. So that makes a lot of sense. Okay, so Rohan gets their stuff together. Okay, yeah, here we go. Now Ring Racer Abroad attacking Rivendell. And of course, then if he plays Deadman on Laemden, then you can attack immediately. He could also play Deadman on Eric to attack Dol Amroth. But then I suppose the Shadow Army can... So let's see. They show up in Eric, then this army moves to Laemden, they besiege Dol Amroth, and they attack you. So yeah, actually, this is a very smart defense against Deadman. To be fair, it relies on you having 10 regulars and another army left to defend against it, but it's a very strong defense. It makes it very difficult to play Deadman and actually pull something off. Okay, so attacking Rivendell. Swarm of Bats against Fateful Strike. Ooh, that's a good Swarm of Bats. Imagine if he just killed the Witch King right there. That would have sucked. Anyway, so 3 hits for Ari, so that helps a lot. Turns out he would have rolled no hits anyway, so oh well. Okay, so that's a very rough start for Elrond. So they press. No card against Sudden Strike. I'm a little surprised he doesn't play Servant or Swarm or Deadly Strife. Maybe he's just expecting to be able to finish this without cards. Sudden Strike, yeah, that's very strong with Elrond. Yep. So 4. They all missed, though. That's rough. Okay, so he gets 2 hits. That feels good. 1 hit back. Presses, no card. And he gets a 6. So yeah, Elrond did. So he was quite right. He did not need any of those cards at all. So let's see. Now he's up to 8 points already, with the Fellowship probably getting into Mordor this turn, unless he quick cycles. Yeah, no. Now that he's all out of opportunity. Yeah, let's see. You'd have to move the Black Captain, then attack somewhere. Anyway, yeah, no, it's impossible unless. What do you call it? Unless Quadratic gives him a ring. Anyway. Okay, so Rohan gets mustered to war. Saruman musters some more in our thank. And we play Deadman of Dunharrow, and we attack, and we take Laemden. I'm not sure how useful that is, because Pelargir can just step on them now. And yeah, you can retreat to Eric, but then what are you accomplishing? Anyway. Okay, so Swarm of Bats against Scouts, that's perfect. At 3 hits, just there he goes. There. Oh, that's so sad. Oh, that's rough. Strider's gone. Oh, that's brutal. That's really bad luck that he'd have a Swarm of Bats and roll 3 hits on 5 dice. Like, that's not like absurdly unlucky, but that's very unlucky though. Yeah. Okay, so all Ari needs is 2 points from anywhere to finish the game. So this army could go sit on Edoras, and this army could go sit on the Shire, and that's GG. But the Fellowship is getting to Mordor next turn, so... Okay, so Rohan is at war now, so that's definitely going to make this difficult. Anyway. I see. Ari points out that he is risking not using a ring to move a 3rd time to make sure he doesn't get hit with Cruel Weather. But of course, Ari doesn't have Cruel Weather, so yeah, that's that. So Ari attacks forward the Vizon, gets the 1 hit, and presses on out. Yeah, at this point, I think you're fine with just, if you have an end card, you can kill Saruman. That's fine. I don't need Saruman anymore. I need 2 points. That's it. which makes a lot of sense. Like this army can put Helm's Deep under siege, and well, okay, no, he did muster Rohan all the way to war, so he can muster another elite in there. So that'll make that stronghold stronger next turn anyway. But like we said, there's all this reinforcements from Osgiliath and Pelargir that can come over, and even these 5 orcs from Dimrildale. I would certainly also be tempted to just go sit on Edoras, and maybe this army could walk over and get the Shire. That's also an option. Okay, Kieran's ships. We proved the Swifter, and now Kieran's ship shows up. That would have been really helpful for Strider last turn. Not that Strider would have had a chance to play it because he just died immediately. Okay, Shadow of Dol Guldur, Isildur's Bane. Okay, Fellowship's off into Mordor though, so there's always a chance. You know, he could just roll all eyes, and Quadratic could roll all movement and just move a lot and not get hit by any eyes, and there you go. That's the game. Okay, so Shadow allocates 1 eye, rolls 1 more. Free Peoples rolls a decent amount of movement. So naturally, you muster in Helm's Deep first in the hope that it holds on. But we attack Erebor. Interesting. I felt like the plan was to go after Helm's Deep here. Oh, but I guess that army is going to have a difficult time keeping Dale against the army in Woodland Realm anyway. Interesting times. I think the plan at this point for me might honestly be give up on Dale, or at least sit there and make them fight me for it, and bring these armies over and crack the rest of Rohan, because there's no way they're taking Mech Rivendell, and it's very unlikely this army could come down and cause any stir without these 5 orcs taking Lorien. I think that would be what I would do anyway. So he draws a character card, which I find interesting because he has File in hand, and he really needs to not get revealed is what he needs. So I would have played File and just started running. Or played Mithril Coat, maybe. Actually, well, there's no red tiles yet, so yeah, I think I'd put File in first. He draws a character card. Athelas, though, that is a good card. Definitely worth picking up. The Nazgul Pivot. Oh, I think he sees also that... No, he attacked before the Palantir, though. I was going to say he sees that there's no Musters or Palantir, so he can't play Dane without spending a ring to do it, even if he could. But he attacked Erebor before Quadratic spent the last Palantir die, so never mind. Okay, Fellowship moves? No, Fellowship does not move. What's happening? Oh, I see that army went out and conquered Dale. Okay. That's... Okay. I feel like what I would do here anyway, seeing this whole army walking out of Dale, I would just walk into Withered Heath, and then you're forcing the Free Peoples to spend another die walking back to defend Woodland Realm. So they'll only be moving the Fellowship once this turn, and you'd still have, these 3 dice to do something else with it. Anyway, that would be my move personally. You could also try to just crack Erebor in one shot here. Like, you do have Mumakil, and you do have a Deadly Strife, and Servant of the Shadow. Like, those are all strong cards. You only get 2 combat rounds, though, because you only have an elite. But also, if the siege goes wrong, this army's just cooked, though. So, risky stuff, anyway. Okay, so we attack Erebor, and yeah, it's Mumakil against Charge. So the Charge rolls 2 hits ahead of time, gets 1 hit. It's about fair. Mumakil only gets 1 hit, so that feels bad. And oof, the Dwarves fight back. They fight back well. They roll 4 hits, so... certainly no Mumakil success here. Right, so the Dwarves do take 1 hit. Interesting, now that army moves there. Oh, I see, because he has Shadows Gather, so he's going to bring these 7 orcs in to join with these 3 elites, and then they're going to go attack Helm's Deep. That makes sense. Oops. Accidentally puts the Captain of Despair card there. So yeah, there's the Shadows Gather, and they get to conquer a settlement along the way. Fellowship moves, it's an eye, so that's, nice that they're revealed. Oh, right, yeah, you gotta ask if the Shadow player wants to use We Shall Get It, but I don't think there's any reason to do that, really. You're just happy to see the reveal. Also, you can't use We Shall Get It yet, because it needs Gollum to be the guide. Right, okay, that's why Quadratic's saying not yet. Right. Okay, so then he attacks Helm's Deep, of course, and leaves the 5 regulars there, I guess, because he wants to be able to step on any army that musters up in Edoras next turn. Because he knows that he doesn't, there's no Black Captain commands or Ring Wraiths abroad available anymore. So, yeah. What do you call it? Like, he can't attack Edoras this turn with this Palantir. He also doesn't have a ring to be able to do that. So, Fellowship hides, draws a card. Fighting Uruk-hai, that is the perfect card. Could not ask for a better card right there for blowing up Helm's Deep next turn. Okay, on to the next turn. A red tile, always happy to see that. Onslaught, that's also good for, especially when you have a lot of bodies to burn through and just want to crack one stronghold. Chucks Durin's Bane, that makes a lot of sense. Very unlikely you're going to play that at this point. Oof, yeah, that's the kind of turn that I was describing last turn, where you roll all eyes. So he can still win this turn for oh, no, not for sure. Not since he lost Dale. Oh, no, but he can take Edoras, of course. Yeah, okay. Probably fine. So I think as a Free People's player, I would muster an Edoras first just to waste some more time, because that forces the Shadow player to spend a die attacking that, as opposed to spending a half die to conquer it and move armies over at the same time. Yeah, okay. They're checking that Quadratic did in fact roll, and it's not the same roll from last time. Okay, so yeah, he musters an Edoras to successfully waste the Shadow player's time. So he attacks, gets 1 hit versus 0 hits. They press naturally, and 1 hit. That's about fair. Okay, so the Free People's player moves, and it's an eye, so that's not fun. That's very bad news for the Free People's player, because that's 5 damage? Yeah, 5 damage. You do have a Hobbit to kill, but that's still... suddenly Corruption's an issue, and We Shall Get It is in play now, too. That's a bummer. Okay, so they get ready to attack Helm's Deep. And hopefully he knows, anyway, that you can bring the Mouth of Sauron in with 1 muster die, and then you can also use the Mouth of Sauron to flip a die to play an event card, not just as an army movement. So you can bring in the Mouth of Sauron and then use that to play Fighting Uruk-hai, anyway. And hopefully take Helm's Deep with it. Anyway. Oh, cool. Okay, so we prove the Swifter happens to bring Gandalf into Helm's Deep to help defend it. So that makes a lot of sense. Yep, in comes the Mouth. Oh, right. He could have used the Galadriel ring on it. Oh, well. Whoopsies. Okay, so he uses Gandalf's ring to draw a character card. Interesting. Well, there's another way. That's a good card. Oh, I think he's hoping for Ent cards for the sake of holding on to Helm's Deep. Yeah, so he does know about using the Mouth. Okay, so turn 1. And now that he brought Gandalf there, I think, did they specify whether Gandalf's shining? They didn't specify. So I think that means technically Gandalf shouldn't be shining, because it is only 1 leadership to cancel, so maybe I wouldn't do it either. I guess it depends. What do you have in your hand? There's no Daring Defiance, there's no Wizard Staff, there's no Brave Stance, so it doesn't really matter. It's a question of 2 leadership for you and 4 leadership for them, or 1 leadership for you and 3 leadership for them. I think I'd take 4 and 2 instead, because it's possible that 4th one isn't going to matter and your 2nd one might matter more. Anyway, so Daylight into Deadly Strife, that's a great combo for the Free People's player. So Shadow player only gets 1 hit. That's bad news, Bears. Right, now they ask about shining. And he does decide to shine. Okay, so that's 5 hits back. That hurts. Yep, there goes 5 regulars. Just like that. Poofers. Okay, so 1 hit against the Free Peoples. No card. Interesting. What cards are there? There's oh no, Servant of Shadow not playable. Cool as Death not. Oh yeah, all not playable. Weird. Felt like he had a stronger hand than that. Okay, only 1 hit. Oh yeah, 1 too many rerolls, but it doesn't matter. And 3 hits back. Helm's Deep they're fighting hard. Okay, 3rd round. Heroic Death. Yeah, makes sense. Might as well play it. Oh, right, there is no reroll for him anymore, because all the Isengard elites are gone and Gandalf is shining. Oh, that's painful. That's very painful. Yeah, just like that, your siege doesn't work anymore. That's very frustrating stuff. Okay, and he attacks Erebor from Dale, which is... I guess I maybe he's hoping to kill the Witch King before he can run away. Like, there's a chance here, anyway, that you just roll 5 hits. Like, we got 7 dice. And now he uses... Oh, right, Servant of the Shadow is to right, decreased dice rolled. So that makes a lot of sense to use here, and you also get to pivot into another character card. He gets 3 hits anyway. Jeepers. And he gets 2 hits back, so that is what it is anyway. Presses, and he retreats. Oh, right, and because that's the end of the turn this time, and he gets first turn, now he gets to attack it again, and hopefully kill the Witch King. Oh, that's... To be fair, it is lucky that he still got 3 hits, but that's a smart play, though. That's a very smart play. Okay, so 1 eye allocated, another one rolled. So the Fellowship can't dunk this turn, even with there is another way, because you need to hide and move 3 times still, and they only have 2 dice to do that with. So even with Galadriel's Ring, yeah. Okay, so he attacked Withered Heath again, no card from Dale, yeah. And he gets his 2 hits, no card, no card. So yeah, that's it. That's the death of the Witch King. That's very tragic to see. Because the Witch Kings, yeah, and all those Nazgul. Now there's only, well, technically there's 6 leadership on the board for Shadow. Well, 7 actually, but 4 of those are immobile in Saruman in the Balrog. So it's just the Mouth of Sauron and that one Nazgul in Helm's Deep. That's frustrating to be on 8 points and you're so close, but yet the last 2 points are very difficult to see where you're going to get them, because Dale is not an option anymore. Like, you don't have any armies anywhere near that, and it's very strong. So the 4 cities plan doesn't work. So you've got to crack either Lorien or Helm's Deep or Grey Havens. You don't have an army that... maybe these 8 regulars from Revendell could make it over to the Grey Havens. But let's see, how much do the elves have in their force pool? 1 elite and 1 regular. That might actually be the best plan at this point. But then again, though, you're out of leadership, and this Mouth can at least make it down to Helm's Deep. And there's reinforcements here and here. So maybe trying to get over to Helm's Deep and finish it off that way is the best way to go. Anyway. Oh, you can also muster more in Orthanc, too. I believe there's only 1 muster, though, so that doesn't help a lot. Tough choices here for sure. Drawing New Powers Rising seems like a great idea to me right now. Yep, musters in Orthanc. Fellowship hides. Oh, no, we sortie out of Helm's Deep. Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah, because if you beat these orcs off, then you can muster more with these 2 musters here. That makes a lot of sense. Buy yourself even more time. Gandalf shines. He plays a strategy card, so that's book advantageous position. That makes a lot of sense. No card. He gets 2 hits, and Shadow Player gets 0. So he presses, and naturally he retreats because 1 orc against 5 regulars is not going to go well. Shadows on the Misty Mountains. Cool. So yeah, this could be a plan to go after Grey Havens, or it could be bringing even more reinforcements down against Helm's Deep. I'm not sure which one makes more sense. Adding a red tile, that's always a good choice. Okay, yeah, so we're still going after Helm's Deep here. We're going to crack it. He musters up in Helm's Deep. Army moves. Armies move some more. Another Shadows Gather would hit the spot perfectly right here, but of course he's already used both the Shadows Gather cards. Musters another elite in Helm's Deep. Uses Gandalf's Ring to turn the Palantir into an army movement. I think that makes sense. Uses theirs another way to hide right here. I don't think that's correct. You should have just hidden with that character normally, because there's another way. Not only could you play it with a Palantir next turn to help you go faster, but it also means you don't have to put a die in the box, so it makes all the eyes next turn less dangerous. Anyway. Attacks Helm's Deep, stays for a field battle, which is a tough choice for sure. Because you have 2 regulars that you don't want to chuck in the discard pile. But then again, if he gets more than 2 hits, then that doesn't feel great. Yeah, tough calls. Okay, so Gandalf sticks around for the field battle anyway. Plays Brave Stand. Ari gets 2 hits, so that's perfect for the Free Peoples anyway. And he gets 2 hits back, so yep. Turns out to be a good choice. The downside is you did just use a Brave Stand that you could have used while you were being besieged. But that's still killing 2 orcs off. Like, the reinforcements are not that close anymore. Like, you used the reinforcements from the north. Now, there is these 8 regulars from Pelargia that can come help still. But they're far away still. Right, and the Shadow Player, of course, is down an eye now, down a die because the Black Captain's dead. Okay. Okay, so interestingly, because the Free People's player hid but did not move, they don't take a corruption for not moving, but the Shadow player does not have to allocate an eye because they didn't move. So he could actually, and I think I wouldn't, honestly, because there's only 2 eyes in there, so the odds of killing them by corruption because of an eye seems relatively minimal to me. It's more a question of having that extra die so you can hopefully finish off Helm's Deep, maybe bring the Mouth of Sauron in for extra leadership. Maybe bring these guys in. That would take a lot, though. So anyway, I would rather have the extra attack for hopefully winning and just hope that he doesn't roll enough movement or, hits a red tile. You do have We Shall Get It to use, too, so that helps. Okay, yeah, so they point out that he does not have to allocate any eyes, but he rolls 3 eyes anyway, so that's that. He rolls 5 movement, so that's a perfect start for the turn. Turns out it doesn't matter that it wasn't theirs, that he used theirs another way last turn. Unless, of course, he hits an eye later, then that still matters. So naturally, he uses a Will of the West. Oh, cool. Okay, so he plays Wind from the West first. That seems interesting to me. I would have been tempted to just run, because you have 5 movement, or maybe play Mithril Coat and then run. But I guess this way you can see what's in... Oh, no, he gets to get rid of We Shall Get It. That's what he's doing. Okay, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. Okay, tucks a red tile in there. That makes a lot of sense. And he plays Mithril Coat and Sting. Okay, dicey stuff. It's tough. You have 4 movement to make it there, so you need to not get revealed once if you're going to win this turn. And to be fair, there's only 2 eyes in there that reveal you and the 2 red tiles. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 out of 12. So you need 2 out of 3 and then slightly less good odds for 2 out of 3 for the next 2 steps. So you could have afforded to get hit with a reveal or a stop once if you hadn't played Mithril. But this way you can use Mithril to dodge one of those, hopefully. So it's a tricky tomato anyway. Anyway, so, and that's, of course, assuming the Shadow player conquers Minas Tirith, Helm's Deep this turn, which they might not. Okay, so we muster more in Orthanc. Which seems odd to me. Do you really have time to bring in that reinforcements? I feel like, since you have the Mouth of Sauron and you could use that as an attack, that you would just want to go and attack, right? Anyway. Okay, Fellowship moves, and it's a 0 reveal, so that's perfect. That is, literally the best tile you could have asked for, because with Gollum it doesn't reveal. Okay, so the Warg is coming. Fellowship moves again, and it's the 3 stop. So, yep, that's exactly what you want to use a Mithril Coat for. And it's the other 0 reveal. So that's crazy. Now they just have to move and not hit a red tile for this last move. Yeah, because an eye would do 5 damage, but they can afford to take 5 damage. He's a Sealder's Bane, which I think makes a lot of sense because it's good odds that he wins otherwise. But if you pull a 3 right now, then those eyes become lethal. Yeah. So there's 2 3s in there that you could pull that could, make the eyes lethal. It's a 1 though, so that doesn't make a huge difference. It does make it slightly more likely that he'll hit a red tile though, so that's still good news for him. Yeah, I think actually. Oh, and he could have pulled the red 1, which would have revealed him and would have stalled him for a turn. So anyway, there were 3 tiles to draw that helped. Actually, literally any tile would help. Yeah. Because even an eye, even though it doesn't do any damage, makes it more likely that he hits a red. So that's just actually 100% odds that it helps play. That's pretty cool. But we don't get to see if... Actually, he could hit... If he hits a red tile, then we go to another round and see if he gets Helm's Deep. If he gets anything else, then he wins and he's through to the finals. And it's a 1. So there you go. Yeah. All of that that's so frustrating as a Shadow player. I've had games like this too where it's going your way for so long and then things stall out and something blows up that wasn't supposed to, and it just buys the Free Peoples enough time to slip through with a relatively pleasant Mordor track. That's so frustrating. But yeah, it's also a really cool comeback story though, because especially just with the Fellowship's slow progress through Rovanion and Strider's instant death in Gondor. It looked pretty grim for them. It's a really cool comeback story anyway. So, yeah, cool stuff. Good luck to Quadratic in this finals against Saved by Him, and looking forward to my matches in the 3rd place game against Ari. Let's take a look at statistics, see if that brings anyone. Interestingly, the statistics this time, it just says 0 combat for the Shadow, and then has rolled all of them as if they were rolled by one player. So anyway, overall there were minus 3 6s, so that's neat. So minus 4 on wills, but plus 2 on characters, so only a little bit behind on movement. Plus 8 on H's. That's actually quite helpful, as opposed to monsters and Palantirs anyway. Plus 4 on eyes, but still plus 4 on armies and plus 4 on characters. Minus 6 on H's. So still plus 2 on attacks overall, minus 3 on musters. Felt that a little bit turn 1 anyway. That certainly didn't help. Anyway, good game. Definitely well played by both players. And yeah, see you next time.